So, Louise, thank you so much for taking your time to have a short conversation with me. So, just to kick off, tell me a little bit about your business and what you do at Absafe.
So I am the CEO of Absafe. So we predominantly provide safety education for children and young people in Aberdeen and Aberdeenshire. So basically, it's like a crystal maze setup. So we have sets. So we teach about fire safety, safety around kitchen in terms of swallowing substances. We do road safety, rail safety, internet safety. We do mental well-being. We also have a pro-social behaviour set. So we will talk about water safety, safety around Aberdeen Harbour, and how to keep safe when you're out and about, particularly with your group of friends around kind of park areas, open areas.
Great. And what were you doing before? What was your sort of your workflow before? What was it like before you started using Udrafter?
I was new to the company, so I guess what happens sometimes is that you need an area of expertise that you don't have in your existing team. So it was quickly identified that the current team didn't have any skills with social media or social media content or looking at algorithms. And I knew about yourselves, so that's why we decided to kind of go to Udrafter, because what we needed was a short-term project that was very targeted at developing our website, which actually was non-existent at the time. So we needed two things, really. We needed to redevelop the website, and then we needed somebody to lead the social media campaign. And I think that the gift was we knew it wasn't in our current set of skills, and we knew somewhere that we could go to get that set of skills in a very easy, organized way.
Great. And what were your you mentioned, sort of touched on a few of the problems there. Was there any sort of wider frustrations that you had before you engaged with an intern on Udrafter?
I think any recruitment, it can be difficult because you have a very specific project that you have in mind. It can be time limited sometimes, particularly with charities and limited funding. So what you don't want to do is go through a 3-month recruitment process and then only have the project for 3 months. And that may not entice or encourage people to apply for it because they're very short-term projects. So the frustration would be that it may take you 3 months to get somebody into the post, but actually your funding only lasts for 3 months. So that can happen quite frequently in charities because of funding limitations. So that can be a massive frustration, getting the skill set that you need into the organisation.
Absolutely. And had you worked with interns before in the organisation?
I hadn't previously, because I was relatively new to the organisation, but I've worked with students and interns before in other areas that I've worked in. And I think what I'm very keen about is young people have a skill set that we sometimes dismiss because we don't give them opportunities to explore that or develop that in the world of work. So I think that's why I was really keen to work with Udrafter, because your USP is something that I'm very passionate about in terms of developing the skill set in young people in the local area.
That's great. And how, before you sort of mentioned that you worked with interns and students before and maybe other companies that you worked with in your career, how did you normally go about finding those interns and engaging with them previously?
I think unfortunately, and that's why Udrafter I think is a really good company, is that the interns usually did it for free. And that comes, you know, I mean, as an employer, you're grateful for that. But as an employee, that's not a really great place to be. And I do think that, you know, if you're going to bring a set of skills, that you should be rewarded for that in some way or another. So I think that was typically how we worked with interns or people that wanted to do some work experience over the summer in between years, if they're doing a degree or a course. So I think typically they did it for free, which is why you exist, isn't it? Because what we want to do is say what you've got is valuable. So we'd like to, you know, make sure that you're rewarded for that, you know, adequately.
Yeah, absolutely. And you've worked with the interns, a couple from the examples that you've given there, which is amazing. What results did you achieve? How is this improved your business? Has it saved time, money, improved efficiencies in your processes?
I think it's definitely taken a weight off my shoulders. So for me to kind of do the work that was completed. So initially I worked with Edwina, who developed our website. Our website really hadn't been touched for a couple of years, and it was on an old operating system. So she came in, branded it, color coded it, spent a lot of time on it. So we needed to do that because we needed to have a starting point for people to visit if we were going to increase our social media presence. And then we worked with Josie, who developed a social media strategy and then looked at all our socials and developed all those social sites. And then what we've done since then is done a bit of analytical work and worked out what works. And then we've progressed with new KPIs that we can move forward with specific targets for other socials. So sometimes we post on Instagram because we know that works, and then maybe not Facebook. And we've set up a TikTok account. And well, when I say me, it wasn't me, it was Josie, but I'll take credit because she's actually not here. So, but it was definitely Josie's hard work that did that, and putting together a new product with mindfulness with. We put together some materials that we can send out to companies. So, and that was, she drove that forward. So yeah, it's been a real joy to have her on board, actually.
Great. And what has that given back to you? So you said it's taken a weight off your shoulders. Do you have more time? Has it sort of given you greater reach to your customers and things?
Yeah, it's done all those things. It's allowed me not to worry about it. It's allowed me to gather information and send it to a point. So Josie is the point. If I've got some information about health and safety, or some information that's come from me, say from the RNLI, I will send it straight to Josie. Josie creates a post. Josie puts it out. So what that allows us to do is it's allowed me, it's freed my time up, but also more importantly, it allows us to get specific messages out. So we hopefully that we can influence people, and maybe they'll think twice about doing certain behaviors that may cause them some risk. So it's twofold really. So freeing up a lot of my time, well, taking away my worries about it, and actually being able to share health and safety information to the wider community so that we can make sure people maybe keep it a bit safer.
That's great. And would you, following on from that point, had you not taken on interns and looking at an alternative, maybe a bit more stressed, taking more time, would that have taken you a lot more time if you tried to do it yourself or through another avenue?
I think I would never have been able to do what Josie did because I don't have that skill set. And when I look at employing people for the charity, there have to be people that don't have the skills that I have, because there's no point. I wouldn't have been able to do what she's done. And we have a really good working relationship and we get on really, really well. We've never met in person. We've only met online. It sounds like a date app, doesn't it? But we've only met online, and yeah, and I really have got a lot of time for her skill set. So yeah, it's freed up that part of the business that I wasn't able to do. I mean, I probably could have done it, but it would have taken a lot of time and energy.
Yeah.
And probably not to the standard that she's done it. So,
sure.
And she has that kind of perspective on social media platforms that I don't have. And I'll be honest, I don't particularly want to have. So because she has that skill set, I don't need to have that. And I think that's a relief and a joy, actually.
Great. And why Udrafter? Why an online service and not maybe some other third-party service that you would traditionally think of when you think of recruitment?
I really like you and Luke. I like your ethos. I like the way that you deliver a service. I like the personableness. I don't even know if that's a word, of your service.
Yeah.
I think you set up the company with the intentions of providing an opportunity for young people in Scotland. And every time that I've had an idea, I usually think, can Udrafter help me with this? So we've got a project coming up that might be for a year. And I was actually thinking this morning, actually, before you emailed me, that, that's probably something that Udrafter can help me with. So it's an easy service, it's accessible, and it's personable. So I think it ticks all the boxes for myself as a CEO, and because I work for a charity, it kind of marries with the the core values that we have at Absafe.
That's great. Thank you, Louise. I really appreciate that. And how did you first hear about us? What sort of piqued your interest?
I think before I got to Absafe, I think you were involved in another project that we tried to get off the ground with Udrafter. It just didn't work out because we did need another skill set. And I think the project was too big at that point for like an internship type of role. So that's how I was introduced to Udrafter. So, and even though that didn't work out and it was no fault of the students or anybody else, it was just the project was just too much we needed a whole printing company really in the end.
Yeah.
To deliver what we needed. So, but we gave the students an opportunity to come up with ideas, and they were great, but they just weren't going to work with what we needed. So that's how I got involved or heard about Udrafter in the beginning.
Great. And final sort of few questions. How likely are you to recommend us, and why should someone maybe listening to this take action right now?
So I recommend you quite a lot. And I think if you are unsure that something may fly in terms of your business plan or your strategy, I think Udrafter is a good toe in the water for that. So if you want to try an idea, but you don't want to commit to a full-time position, I think Udrafter is a really good way of doing that. Because you can say, right, we'll try it for 3 months. And because you do all the kind of HR payment stuff, it's really easy. There's one payment that comes out, you sort all that out. So that kind of takes away that pressure of recruitment and payments and pensions and all those kind of things. So in terms of that, it's a really easy way of introducing maybe an idea into your company that maybe you don't want to commit to fully because you don't know if it's going to work, or you don't know if it's going to fit in, or maybe things will change in 3 months. And then if it works and that person works for you and you develop a relationship, then you can make that a full-time job. So I think in a way it's a good way of dipping your toe into a new idea without committing fully, or taking on somebody full-time and then it not working, then you have to kind of let them go. So I think it's a really good way of providing opportunities for people, but also getting their expertise and sharing your expertise with them, and hopefully your ideas will work, and if not, then you can kind of move forward.
Great. And final thing, is there anything that we could improve on?
I don't think so. I think you're a very honest company. I think if there's things that haven't gone well, you tell us, and that's okay, because that happens. I think that you're really busy, and I worry about you being too busy, which is not a bad thing. But that doesn't affect the way that you run your company or your performance or the product that you deliver. So I don't know if there's anything that you could that would change for me just now. But if there was anything, I would just probably suggest it to you directly anyway. But at the moment, there's nothing I could suggest that you could do differently.